How's it going, everybody? Hopefully everybody knows the drill. Give me a sound check. Let me see some thumbs up in the chats here. Matter of fact, give this stream a thumbs up to let me know that you can actually hear me okay. It's been a hot minute since I did a live stream from here in my office, so I want to make sure that my new microphone that I have up here is working adequately to where you can hear me good enough, and I'm not blowing your ears out. You don't hear any background sounds or anything of the sorts. Cool. I'm seeing all the thumbs up that I want to see, so this is awesome. So, welcome back to another live stream. Let's see here. Today we're going to be reviewing two more of my APA matches that I have here. And I've got another one like sitting in the background. That won't be until I get another video to tag along with this, as I like to try to do these in pairs now. That way it keeps the stream at least a decent length. Never know if I ever might switch down to just doing, one video at a time for a live stream. But I do have a couple of announcements. So if you haven't seen my latest product review on the J Flowers Power Jump Cue, please check out the pinned comment that you see up above, whether you're on Facebook or on YouTube, because I am giving that cue away. Here is a close-up of the cue. This is a $320 cue, jump cue, 3-piece cue, because it breaks right here where the sports wrap is, the embossed leather sport wrap. And not only am I giving one away, I'm giving two of these away. The two lucky winners. The same person cannot win two jump cues. It will be two separate individuals. The only thing I did different on that product review is I didn't say like I want that video to get X amount of views, or I want that video to get X amount of likes or whatever, because it seems that theme has kind of died down when it comes to my product review videos. So I'm pretty much just letting that product review video just sit there, and after some time has gone by, I will eventually select a winner. But I'm not going to be giving any hints as to how long I'm going to wait. Y'all should at least be familiar with the channel by now. I don't wait too terribly long before I actually do select a winner, but I do want some time to go by to where people can hopefully discover the video. Comment on the video as well, because that's how I end up selecting a winner. You have to be able to like the video, leave a comment in the comment section below, be subscribed to the channel, and make sure that your subscription list is public. And then, like I said, after some time, I'll do another live stream just like this and select two winners from that video. So, as we're talking about this, you can all just do me a huge favor. You can share this stream, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, especially if you're on Facebook. You can share it to your Facebook profiles and any of your favorite poll groups, as well as YouTube, so more people can discover this live stream, hang out with us, hopefully learn from any mistakes that I might make in any of these matches. That'll hopefully help improve their game, as well as myself, since I'm watching this in a retrospective kind of fashion, to be able to determine whether or not if there are things that I could have done better, to where if I lost the match, how I could have won the match, or if I lost any racks, how I could have won the racks, or if I won the entire thing, how could I have won quicker in less amount of innings. Anything that I can possibly do to add to my toolbox that's going to make me become a better player, that hopefully in turn helps you become a better player. And on top of the product review video, if you can also share that video around as well, so more people can discover it, I would really, really appreciate that. Now, how's everybody doing? We're getting ready to come into the weekend here. This has been a rather long week for me. I wasn't actually sure if I was going to do this live stream. I literally just like woke up from a nap maybe about like an hour ago. Work has been running me rampant. That's why I haven't really done any straight pool live streams in quite some time. But I still practice it. Like I do go in there at least once or twice a day and at least do a couple of high run attempts. I have my cameras running when I do, so that way if I happen to beat my old record, I can post a video about that, but we will have to see. Actually, I like this. This is actually a good comment from Loping CSF. It says, we have an ethical dilemma here. It says, you can either share my video on the product review or don't, so that way those that have already commented on it have a higher chance at possibly being able to be selected. That is actually a good point, but also do keep in mind though that even if you have commented on the video as well as the hundreds of others that have already commented on it, do keep in mind that commenting multiple times does not increase your chances of being selected as a winner, so long as I want to believe how the third-party software that I use to select a unique comment from the video. But you do make a good point there, though. But nonetheless, please share the video and help spread the word. I'm giving away 2 queues. That's $320 a queue. That's a $640 package that I'm giving away absolutely for free. All I need is to borrow 10 minutes of your time to watch a video and learn the specs about it, and then, I mean, heck, if you by any chance didn't become a winner, then you could possibly still buy it based on the information that was given to you in the review. I really would appreciate that. Okay, next announcement. I don't know if y'all have noticed, but yeah, right over here, there is another sponsor. If you can see at the bottom there, here on my shirt, I have been recently picked up and added to the Taom Pro team. This is super excited. If anybody's followed me enough, y'all know that I really love using their the Taom Pyro Chalk, because the chalk that I have in my bag, as well as the one that I have in my garage that I've been using for my YouTube channels or my YouTube channel, has basically lasted me almost 2 years before I finally have to replace them. And in acquiring the sponsorship now, I've got the V10 chalks that I'm going to be trying out. And if y'all saw, I did a community post on my YouTube channel as well as on my Facebook page about all the items that I have. And lo and behold, I'm going to be taking some of those items and creating small little package giveaways. So you're going to be getting more free stuff. But I haven't posted anything about that, and I think that's strictly going to be done on YouTube, not YouTube. That's strictly going to be done on Facebook. So if you're not following my Facebook page, Lil Chris Pool Player, be sure to check that out. You can find a link in the description below if you're on YouTube. That one there, I think it's going to be like 3 small package giveaways that's going to include like a piece of V10 chalk, a braking tip, and I think I'll probably have a choice between a Taom Fusion tip or a Taom medium tip, along with a small leather pouch that you can actually carry your chalk in, as well as a glove. I think I have some medium-sized gloves and extra large gloves, and so based on the winners, you can kind of pick and choose which ones you want, because clearly I wouldn't want to give you a glove if that's a medium size if you need a large or an extra large, so there'll be some customizations, but it's basically going to be 3 winners on that one. 3 small giveaways that I'll be doing later on Facebook. Hopefully here in the next week or so, I'll actually put up a post and announce the giveaways on that. But I have giveaways going. I'll be having giveaways going on Facebook, as well as the giveaway that I have currently here going on YouTube for the J-Flower Power Jump Cube. So be sure to follow the page to hear more about it. Now, let's see here. Just want to look around the live chat here before I switch over to the actual matches that I'm doing tonight. Let's see here. Douglas C, you're asking if the J-Flower jump cues are the same as the J-Flower's break jump cue. Same 3 parts, designed with the phenolic tip. Not exactly the same design. Well, they have the same look for sure. But the matter of fact, I probably need to try to pull it up so I don't give out wrong information. I do know for a fact that the break jump cue is longer in length. Is longer. I just don't know what the exact is. So let me just look it up real quick. Because the power jump cue is only 47 inches, whereas the brake jump cue looks like it's labeled at 54.5 inches, so a little bit bigger. And you can 54.5. That's not exactly your standard length cue, right? Because your standard length cue is 58 inches, where both the shaft and the butt are 29 inches. So this one's just slightly shorter for a jump brake, whereas the jump cue alone, when all three pieces are assembled, is 47 inches. So I hope that clears that up. Let's see here. Craig, you're asking me what's my thoughts on the new glove and have I switched tips yet? I have not switched tips yet. I will be doing that. That's going to be another video that I do here soon. I'm thinking about putting the Taom Fusion tip on my Predator Icon because that tip seemed to really interest me because the way the description of the tip is that the center of the tip kind of has like a medium hardness, whereas the outside edges, or I don't know how big of a diameter of the center is of a medium hardness, but everything else around the tip is supposed to have a softer feel to it. So that just seems interesting to me, and I'm really curious as to what kind of hit, what kind of control, what kind of feel that's actually going to have. And if I like it enough, then I'll end up putting it on like my Predator Black 4.5, maybe even my Tuxedo or some of my other cues. If I happen to not like it enough, then I will most likely be trying the Taom soft tip. Since I like to use soft tips now. Everybody knows that on my Predator Black 4.5, it was a couple of months ago where I changed from the Victory soft tip that comes with it. It finally got worn down enough, and I've been playing with a How soft tip, and I absolutely love the How soft tip. But considering that Taom is sponsoring me, I do want to use their product. So I more than likely will be switching that How soft tip to either a Taom Fusion tip or a Taom soft tip. It'll just depend. I'm basically going to run a test with my Predator Icon using the Fusion tip. And if I like it enough, then that will more than likely go on the black. Oh, I can already see that people are noticing. Oh my goodness. Yeah, somewhere in the bottom right corner. Right, here's Zelda. He's just kind of just hanging out in here. I have some toys. Actually, you can see them. I have some toys in here. So I don't know if he's gonna get riled up enough to play with the toys while we're on live stream. But who knows? You might get some cat entertainment. You want to say hi to everybody? Oh, I guess not, huh? There he is. There's the little fur ball. Say hi, everybody. That should get me like a million views now. So thank you. Okay. So yeah, so now on top of having onboard sportswear sponsor me, which by the way, I do have a affiliate code with onboard sportswear. Why am I not remembering what it is off the top of my head? I do believe it's just Lil Chris, but let me double check because again, I don't want to give anybody the wrong information. It is Lil Chris 10 in all caps. If you go to onboardsportswear.com and use the discount code Lil Chris 10, you can actually get 10% off of your purchase. That is the company that makes the jerseys and apparel for the Mosconi Cup. And I'm waiting to see when our APA team jerseys that we just ordered for my Monday team that we called 8-Ball Physics. Those jerseys should hopefully be here pretty soon, and I'll be showing off what those look like as well. And as part of my sponsorship with Taom, I did forget to mention that I have a discount code with them that is going to last until October 25th. Let me find what the discount code is on that one. Oh, I am not prepared. If you go to Taom's website, which I do believe is Taom Billiards. Yes, taombilliards.com. If you purchase anything off of that website and use the discount code Lil Chris in all caps, not Lil Chris 10. Lil Chris 10 is for onboard sportswear in all caps. and then just Lil Chris by itself, Lilchris. If you use that on Taom billiards, then you'll get 10% off your purchase as well. That discount code is only going to last until October 25th, though. The onboard sportswear one, that's an ongoing one. I don't think that one expires. Okay, so that's all that there, I think. Haha. All right, let's see here. Yeah, Murky Joker. Yeah, those are dead mice toys. That are over here. I can't figure this out. There we go. They're over here on the floor that hopefully he'll start playing with, but he doesn't need to be cleaning himself. He doesn't need to be cleaning himself on camera. That's for sure. Goodness gracious. All right. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and review the first match. Got a little Powerade water here to keep my voice from going hoarse. Let's go ahead and switch over to this. There we go. All right. Now, if anybody's new to the channel, what I like to do with these matches here, like I said, I review 2 matches at a time. So I will go through this first match here, and when this match is done, then I'll just take a small break, maybe take a couple of questions from the viewers, chat with the viewers while I'm setting up the next video or the next match to be reviewed, and then we'll go on and review the next match as well. Okay, so in this matchup here, I am playing up against a skill level 7, and if y'all saw the thumbnail, this is a skill level 7. I've played this gentleman on my channel before. And he just recently had some surgery done on his, I think it was his left shoulder. And so that's why you're going to be seeing him using that rolling device that you actually see in the thumbnail. That device is something I've seen commonly used for players that are unfortunately bound to a wheelchair, where they can actually stick their cue on this device because it has a wheel at the bottom to be able to place their cue onto the table and perform strokes with it. And so since he can't use his left arm because he is a right-handed player, he can't make a bridge. You're going to see it basically slung up next to him. He has this to where if he has to cue anywhere in the middle of the table, he'll have that device attached. If he can just cue on the rail, then he won't be using that device. So it's actually pretty cool. And there was another skill level 7 on this team, but I guess for some reason, this opponent here wanted to have a rematch against me instead of putting up the other skill level. And so we're going to break down this match here and see what my opponent could have done better as well as what I could have done better. And I will be trying to give play-by-play commentary as to what's happening. So without further ado, let's begin. Let's see who's going to break first. And it looks like it's going to be me. So we're just going to speed up till we get to my break. Now, in this match here, this match was a couple of weeks ago. I actually forgot about this match. The last time I did my live stream, this video should have been included in that live stream. And one of the other videos should have been part of this live stream here. But I got them mixed up with all the files that I have on my computer. So this is an older match. And then the next match is a little bit more recent. Now this is on my Monday night team. This is the night that I told you where the team is called 8-Ball Physics, and we've ordered some team jerseys from Onboard Sportswear. We're still waiting for them to arrive, and the moment they arrive, we'll be able to I'll be able to show them to you. Now on this night, I had talked about this I think in my previous stream. There was like a week or two where I wasn't pop breaking anymore. I kept getting sick and tired of every time that I would try to pop break, the cue ball would basically fly off to one side, and as it tries to go forward, it goes right into one of the side pockets. And I just got tired of that happening, so I just kept doing more of a flatter break to where now I can just send the cue ball straight into the rack. And I'm still trying to get the cue ball to halt in the middle of the table by applying just, a touch of topspin if I can, so long as that I'm cueing straight. And I'm not accidentally cutting the rack as well. So I don't think you'll be seeing as many pop breaks in this one. They'll be a little bit more controlled. So let's check out the first break. You can see that the cue ball basically just launches itself forward because all I did was just put too much topspin on the cue ball. I probably accidentally hit it somewhere like this when I was actually wanting to hit it like this. Now, I'm going to do a quick rewind because I did see a ball drop. It was the 2 ball. So it looks like I'm going to be solids. And look at this. Like this is kind of a terrible break if you ask me. This is something I would kind of expect from an a second ball 8 ball break where you got this nice clutter of balls here where since I'm breaking on this side, I'd see all the balls go this way. And after they all hit the side rail, they all come back over here and clutter up like this. This is not what I would usually expect from a head-on break like I did, even though I accidentally did more of a cut break and not exactly a head-on break. So yeah, this stinks. So for anybody that is an up-and-coming player, this is what I like to do whenever I come to the table. Now, we just saw that I am solids, right? I didn't make a stripe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 stripes on the table. So in APA rules, you play what you make on the break unless you make at least one of each. So since I only made a solid on the break, I am now solids. So when I come to the table, I have to be able to observe the entire table and figure out where are all of my problems. So for example, clearly this is kind of a problem here with my 3 ball, 5 ball, and 6 ball. And then I have this problem right here with the 1 ball tied up next to the 9. Here is the 8 ball, which clearly is going to go over here. So not really that big of an issue. And here's my 4 and here's my 7. So the 4 and the 7 clearly don't have any issues as well. Now, when it comes to the problem spots, this clutter here and this clutter here, if I'm feeling aggressive, then I'm going to try to solve them probably right now, or at least in as few shots as possible, to where I can either try to open them up, like try to open this clutter up, or try to separate the 1 from the 9. I'm going to try to figure out how I can do that so that I can hopefully try to break and run the table. If I pretty much assess that, yeah, there is almost no chance in the world that I'm going to be running this table, then I'm more than likely going to play some sort of safety. Now, if I do remember correctly, I do try to be a little aggressive on this one because I have a shot at the 4 ball. I can shoot the 4 ball here into the side pocket. That means my cue ball should automatically be going somewhere up like this, and I do believe I hit this with some right spin in efforts to try to break up the 1 ball. I leave pretty much this stuff here because at least with the 6, I can possibly cut it off of the 10 or the 11 to go into the side. That might even help allow me to break this up. So I think my first objective here was to try to break up the 1 ball. Let's see here. So usually whenever you see me come to the table, unless I figure things out, the moment I walk up to the table, you're gonna see me go from side to side. You're gonna see me look at all the balls from different angles to see where they can possibly go, different routes that I can possibly take. So usually on my first shot is where I might take anywhere from 45 seconds to a minute before I decide what I'm going to do. After I decide that, so long as my cue ball control is where it's supposed to be, then I just start rapidly trying to go through the rack. As I said, here I am settling in on the 4 ball. You're going to see me thump this one pretty hard as I try to break out the 1 ball. See that as I try to break out the 1 ball, but look, I ended up getting lucky. So there's some APA for you. Any pocket, amateur. Or let me see some spam chats. What does APA stand for? Because in APA you don't have to call the ball or call the pocket that you're going for, except for the 8 ball. So since I still made a solid, it is still my turn. Now, at this point in time, you can pretty much say there's no way in the world I'm going to run this table. So I am going to play some sort of safety here. You can see there just a simple safety with the one ball, pushing the one ball out into the open so that way I can now make it. And now my opponent will get to come to the table. Anastasio. As much as I love that comment, I can't highlight that comment though, but do know that I do see it. This is the comment that I have on Facebook. Now look at my opponent here. Given the condition that he has here, I mean he's already doing an excellent job being able to run the table. We can see we might have one small issue right here, right? Because he can clearly shoot the 10 ball in, but he doesn't want that 11 ball to move and let alone clutter up with any of my solids there. Because otherwise he's going to want to be able to hit the crap out of this just to make sure that it doesn't cluster up. Let's see. He's dropped the 9. Look at that. There's the 15. Looks like the 12 is gone. And the 14 is gone. So this actually isn't bad. It looks like he can make the 10 now and maybe not disturb the 11, because I think the 11 would go also. The only hard part is if he cuts the 10 into the side pocket, that causes his cue ball to go up table. So how does he, safely go up table and come back down for position on the 13 or the 11? Instead, it looks like he tries to cut the 11 or cut the 13 ball. And look at this. It ends up leaving me safe. But that was what? That was a nice 4-ball run by a one-handed player. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. So what do y'all think I tried to do there? I really tried to, could I have thinned the cue ball enough to where I can just graze that one ball and keep the cue ball behind the one ball? I mean, because that's at least what I tried. Or at the very least, keep the cue ball on the rail here, right? So that way, considering that my opponent is playing one-handed, it's a little difficult to bridge off of the rail when the cue ball is so close to the rail. It makes it real difficult. Okay, it looks like we might have a timeout. This is the other 7 that I was talking about. This is the other 7. This is who I thought I might have been playing when I saw that that my opponent still had his sling on from the surgery, but it didn't go down that way. So it looks like, we can clearly try to make the 13 ball here. We probably want the cue ball to come off the short rail and come back up for position on the 10 here. Oh, but he hits it just a little too hard. Look at that. That was still a good shot. Now, I would think here, if he's going to make that 10 ball, he's got to blast it open so that way the 11 ball doesn't get tied up next to my solids. Look at that. But, just unlucky. How unlucky can you get? Like, seriously. What do we do here, right? This is a position nobody wants to be in at any skill level, right? My opponent only has 1 ball left. And chances are, I mean, this is a high probability that he's going to miss this shot. And once you're in this position, like the moment I come to the table, especially with an unfortunate scratch right there, my opponent is now in a position where he has a high probability of losing just so long as I stay in my lane, right? Because considering the layout of the table here, like what are some options that I can do here? You already see me looking at to see if I wanted to make the 5 ball into the corner pocket, but look how close the cue ball is to the object ball. I don't want to risk double hitting the cue ball and committing a foul, right? So when I say that when you're in my opponent's position, you are more than likely supposed to lose the rack. So long as I don't make the grave mistake of missing a shot, I should know, 1, am I going to run the table, or am I going to take off a couple of balls and then protect the cue ball at the same time? Because my opponent should be waiting for me to miss so badly that they can't shoot at their ball. Now, me, I'm not going to just arbitrarily, miss a shot to where I'm going to leave my opponent a shot unless it's done accidentally, right? But when you think about the lower skill level players on the lower skill level ladder, they don't think like that. They think let's just shoot shot for shot. And when they do that, that's when they end up coming up with a shot that more times than not, they'll probably end up missing. They probably only have like a make percentage of like 4 out of 10. They end up missing the shot and then leaving an easy shot for their opponent, whether it's on the last ball or whether it's on the 8 ball or whatever. But me, on the other hand, though, like I said, unless I make a mistake, because those are bound to happen. I'm not a perfect player. Unless I make a mistake, I should be in control of this rack here. So I don't like playing the 5 ball. So despite that I have ball in hand, watch what I end up doing. I just play a nice tuck safety, and now all of my balls are out in the open. The only ball that's really not in the open is the 6 ball, but once I move the 3 ball out of the way, then the 6 ball can go here as well. So now, how do you think my opponent's going to attempt to get out of this? Or just a matter of fact, what would y'all do to try to get out of this? I already like this comment here from Murky Joker. He says he needs to do a 3-railer. Well, that's what it looks like he's going to do. And how did he hit it? Like, my goodness, that was such a good attempt. Like, holy cow, that was such a good attempt. And he got a decent leave off of it, but now, at this point here, I end up switching into aggressive mode since all my balls are out in the open. Because I can't see that 7 ball directly. I do believe I play a rail first shot, and I have some top left spin on this cue ball to just spin the cue ball out into the open. Ideally, I would like the cue ball to be right here near the middle of the table, but I do have a shot at the 5 ball, and I also have a shot at the 3 ball. And you heard me say earlier that if I move the 3, then the 6 ball will be fine. So here it looks like I'm shooting at the 3 ball, more than likely with just some stun left spin to come back out towards the middle of the table. Kind of like this. This should give me position for the 1 ball. Now, the 11 ball does block enough of the pocket for the 8 ball, so I end up trying to play the 8 ball in the same pocket that I'm going to play my last ball in. So you can see there a little bit of bottom right spin to get position on the 6. Here is most likely a little bit of stun to pull the cue ball off of the rail to play the 5 ball in the same pocket, but I want to make sure that the angle that I have on the 5 ball allows me to get position on the 8. So what do I mean by that? Well, look where I have it. So if we look at this shot here, let me just do a quick pause. If we look at this shot here, this is the shot line for the 5 ball. Something like this. So as long as my cue ball is on this side of the shot line, that means when I shoot the ball in, my cue ball automatically goes this way. If I was anywhere on this side of the shot line, that means my cue ball is most likely going to go that way, which makes it a little bit more difficult to get position on the 8. So considering where I'm at, all I'm going to want to happen is for my cue ball to hit the short rail and then spin over here for position on the 8 to go into the same pocket. So I do have a touch of bottom right spin on this cue ball, or I should say stun, really. By the time the cue ball gets there, it should have either a sliding or kind of a rolling cue ball, and then the right spin is going to do the work for me and put my cue ball over here on this side so I can play the 8 in the same pocket. Kind of like that. I should have hit that just a tad bit harder, right? Because I don't want to be so close to the rail, right? Just kind of hit the rail and kind of just bump right off of it and actually just get perfectly straight in on the 8 ball. At least that would have been more ideal. And I need to keep up with doing this here. And they just gently roll the 8 ball into the corner pocket and take the first rack. Now, what's interesting here is you see how hunched over my opponent is because he is trying to use his sling shoulder to kind of help Rack. So he's kind of like he's kind of got like T-Rex arms, and you're gonna see points here where I actually show him that he's racking the rack crooked, and so I just help him like which way to twist the rack so that way it's straighter. So there's a nice flat break. My cue ball was pretty much just coming straight back, but it looks like I broke dry. No, Loping CSF, there was no minion marker here. We pretty much just agreed that it was okay for us to just call the pocket, so you're not going to see any of us use markers on this match. It's something that you just typically see between skill level 6s and skill level 7s when we're playing at the local level. Once we're in playoffs or when we're at cities or nationals, markers must come out. There's no agreeing on calling the pocket. Murky Joker, you're saying that he racked wrong? Let's have a look. I believe I know what you're going to be referring to, but it's not going to be a wrong rack for APA. But let's take a look. Yeah. I'm more than certain you're saying what you're saying because there's a solid here and then there's a solid here. That is actually this would actually be an illegal rack for BCA. For APA, it does not matter. All that matters is that the 8-ball is in the middle of the rack and all the balls can be anywhere else. It does not matter. But for most, if not all non-APA events, there has to be a stripe and a solid in the corner. It doesn't matter which is which. This could be a stripe and that could be a solid, or this could be a stripe and that could be a solid. But like I said, not in the APA. It does not matter. All right, let's get back to where we were. So my opponent's coming to an open table, and I think I saw earlier he claimed stripes by starting with the 13 ball into the side pocket. So we can just see that he just plays it off the side rail and comes back out into the open. He's got a pretty decent layout for stripes here. All right, so there goes the 13 ball. He just has to be careful with his cue ball control, which is easier said than done since he's playing one-handed. All right, so there's the rolly device. So that was looks like that was the 12 in the side. Now things get interesting because it's a matter of when is he going to come after this 14 ball here? Okay, that was a nice attempt on the 15 to go into the side pocket. You see he's got position here for the 11. I don't think he got position for the 9. I think it's hooked behind the 8. I'm not entirely sure, but my 5 is not hooked behind the 8. So again, we rinse and repeat the process here where if I'm going to run the rack, how am I going to do that? So clearly right now, the only ball that I can shoot at is the 5 ball, which is why you see me shooting at it. But I have this 4-2 clutter that I have to worry about. And then we have the 7 ball tied up next to the 14 ball. Now, I can't remember if I can actually squeeze the ball past the 14 ball, but one thing I could certainly try to do is go 7 into the rail and then off the 14 and then go in. So really, it's just going to be a matter of trying to break up this 2 and this 4. And I honestly don't remember what I started with. Let's see. More than likely right spin to get to the side rail and back to the middle of the table, just like that. And yeah, clearly I probably should have hit that a little bit harder. Maybe I might have been able to break that stuff up, but that means I must have shot the ball with some right spin. So the question is going to be am I going to try to run the table from here? I can either shoot the 6 ball into the side or to the corner, or I can shoot the 1 into this corner. It looks like I'm gearing up for the 6. Six all the way in the corner. Does that mean the 7 passes? Logic, you're wanting to know if the 4-ball is bankable. I mean, from the camera angle, I'm not going to be able to tell, and I certainly don't remember. Like I said, because this match was a couple of weeks ago. And actually, you know what? It was bankable because that's what I'm going to try. So good call. Good call. I think the idea was for me to try to bank the 4 and break out the 7 at the same time. Now, moving the 14 does help because now I can shoot the 7 into the pocket and kind of squeeze it in between the 14 and the pocket. But it looks like my opponent's going to take it out for me, so we're fine. So there's that. Comes back up towards the middle of the table. He's got position on the 15. Probably just wants to just gently bump the 15s into the side pocket. Cue ball bumps into the 10 and pushes it towards the bottom right corner. It's difficult to say whether or not if he could have held the cue ball there to where he could have shot the 10 next. But now I'm not sure. It doesn't look like he has anything. So yeah, it looks like if anything, I'm betting he's going to try to bank this 10 ball into the cross side. Look at that. What a shot. Holy cow. You've got to be kidding me. And then look, an unfortunate leave here, right? I think ideally he'd want position on the 11 ball, but instead he played the 9-11 combo. Holy cow. And then just one unfortunate leave after another. And again, look what position my opponent's in, right? If he doesn't make this 9 ball, I now have complete control of the table. If I don't think I can run out the table, I just got to make sure that I protect the cue ball from my opponent's 9 ball. Otherwise, go ahead and run the table. All right, so he's going to go for a kick shot here. I think it's going to be pretty obvious if he would have ended up hitting the 8 ball first, so that's why we didn't call anybody to come and watch. All right, so ball in hand. So this is the only issue that I have on the table, really. So I would more than likely want to try to solve it right now. So you can see here, it looks like I'm going to try to use the 4 ball to solve it. So I place the cue ball not straight in with the 4 ball. This is more likely going to be done with some top spin. There's no side spin that's needed. Because I want to be able to shoot the 4 ball in to the corner pocket, and I want my cue ball to just roll up here and bump the 8 ball away from that 9 ball and have my 1 ball be my backup shot for the side pocket here. This is at least what I'm planning on next, because then I can use the 1 ball to transition my cue ball back down towards the middle of the table, more than likely to peck off the 7. If I don't get position on that, then I would have to use the 3 next, because I don't want to play a combo unless I have to. I think kind of like that. The worst thing that could have happened is I get hooked behind the 9. That would have been the worst thing that could have happened to me. So I think here, this is kind of just a slight rolling cue ball as I just roll down towards the other end of the table. So rolled a little too far. Looks like I'll be getting position on the 3. I'm more than certain I would want position on the 7. Not this. Looks like we got some bottom spin here. I'm going to be coming back towards the middle of the table. But look, I didn't get it. I didn't get it. So what do y'all think I'm going to do here? The idea would be to come towards the idea here was to come towards the middle of the table here. So that way I can shoot the 7 ball with some top left spin like this. If my cue ball was right here, I would expect some sort of result like this. Play the 7 into the corner. Have my cue ball flare 3 rails around like this for position on the 2, somewhere in this general area here. That way I can play the 2 ball into the same corner with some bottom right spin to pull the cue ball back for the 8 here in the corner. That's at least what the plan should have been. Considering that the plan went wrong, like I said, since I can't run the table from here, I can certainly risk it. I can try to bank the 7 into the upper left corner pocket, but what are the percentages that I'm going to be able to bank the 7 in and get position on the 2 ball in such a way to where it's easy for me to get position on the 8? Or I see Murky Jokers over here talking about bank the 2 ball. That's certainly a thing I could do. I could try to possibly bank the 2 ball up here. I could certainly try to cut the 2 ball up here, but when I take those options into consideration, I still have to ask myself, am I going to be able to get position on the 7 in such a way to where I can get position on the 8? The more I start adding those scenarios into play, the more likely I'm like, yeah, this isn't going to work. Or at least I have a much higher % chance at just doing this. And that was messed up. Do you see where I tapped on the table? I was supposed to hit the 7 ball, hit the rail, and come right here. Not just tap into the 7 ball. So little mistake done by myself there. No, Murky Joker, banking to the side pocket was not reasonable at that cut angle. I'd have to cross bank, meaning that the cue ball is going to cross the path of the 2 ball. And look at this. My opponent tries to play a carom off of the 8 ball in order to make his 9 ball into the corner pocket. That was a good effort. I think now my problem here is that the 8 ball blocks the inside 3 railer for me to play the 7, so I think I have to try to zigzag my position from the 7 to the 2, kind of like this. And I didn't get it. Now, from here, though, I don't mind trying to bank the 2. Why? Because I'm going to try to get position on the 8. And by trying to get position on the 8, I'm protecting the cue ball from the 9 that's down here at the other end of the table. Right? So I at least try to do that. And if I make the shot, I have a shot at the 8. If I miss the shot, I'm protecting the cue ball at the same time. Oh my gosh. How did he miss that? I do remember that. We wondered about how did he miss this. Look how close he gets to this. Look at this frame by frame. I mean, look at that. Just barely. I mean, even if he would have just hit it, right? Just anything but commit a foul. Anything but commit a foul. Right? You just barely hit it. Or just barely missed it. And then, of course, look at this. This is great. I'm actually smiling and laughing at this point, and I'm talking to my opponent. I was like, you leave me no choice here. Like, I don't want to do what I'm about to do, but what other choice do I have? Like, seriously. Man, I mean, like, let's be real here. I actually felt bad having to do this. I mean, oh my goodness. Like, look at that. I should not have to do that. But like I said, my opponent got a little lucky with his accidental foul and puts my 2 ball in a position where it was just unreasonable to make. Maybe I could have, if anything, if I wanted to be aggressive, I'd be taking my ball in hand, putting the cue ball like right here, and then trying to bank the 2 ball over here, right? That would be if I want to be super aggressive, but I'm not doing that, right? That's why I end up playing this safety instead. This is where I get all the comments where, even some of the teammates and even some of my teammates, they're like, how could you? Like, why are you beating up on a handicapped guy? And all I can say is, hey, he wanted to step up and be a big boy, so I'm playing him like he's one. Look at this effort. Look at this effort. If he would have got past the side pocket, if the cue ball would have went 2 rails and I think past the side pocket, he might have had a chance. He might have had a chance to be able to hit the 9 ball. But with ball in hand now I can take the 2 ball, and then now I can take the 8 ball. And right there, I make sure that I call it. And there we go. I'm up 2-0. Okay, so right here, this is the part where I'm showing him to where like I just basically place my cue on the table and show what angle he has crooked, so that way when I twist the cue, he knows how to twist the rack in order to make the rack straighter. Okay, break number 3. Oh, for sure. Chip sounder for sure. Like I said, and I've already saw some other comments where like my opponent is fearless. I mean, clearly he is, right? Look at some of the shots that he's going for. His make percentage. He's making difficult shots, just getting unfortunate leaves since he can't have absolute control on his cue ball. But man, we did talk about this stuff afterwards, because he was telling me that, you know, because I think now, because like I said, this was a couple of weeks old, so now it doesn't have his sling anymore. He did say like playing this way has benefited him because it has slowed him down. I'll just have to wait and see like how much did it benefit him the next time I see him play, or the next time we play each other, when he's able to use both of his hands. I mean, look at this. Like, the guy is just, you know, making balls, getting decent position. But again, even if he had use of both hands, what is he going to do about this area up here? Right? All of that has to come into play. There goes the 2 balls. Got decent position on the 7. Robert Ellison, I would probably have to say that the table is just not breaking that great. You know, and we might even call it that, you know, since my opponent is a little limited with the way that he's racking, it's probably not the greatest rack in the world that I could be getting as well. I'm not pop breaking either, so there is less power on the break. Look at that. He was even able to draw the ball with that device. How good is that? So who knows? There could be a couple of reasons why it happens. I mean, look at that. Like, that's just too good. That's just too good. Okay, so here, obvious shots, either this ball or this ball, but I'm taking this ball first. Just allow the cue ball to just gently roll forward to the middle of the table. Here's my trouble spot, right here. You can see that I'm pointing at it, like, what am I going to do with this? So from here, it looks like I can either take the 11 ball now, and we can see that if I shoot the 11 ball in, cue ball does this, 11 ball goes this way, cue ball should go something like this. And that's what hopefully should allow me to break this stuff open. I don't even think I have any side spin on the ball, just a rolling cue ball. I kinda broke it apart. Question is does the 9 ball go or does the 10 ball go? One or the other. So I think those are my only other options. So from that angle there, it looks like I'm looking at the 10 ball. So the 10 ball should be, I'll be attempting to play the 10 ball into the corner pocket. And I want the cue ball more than likely to run into the 4 ball. So I probably have a little bit of stun on the cue ball. Kind of like that, but I didn't cut it enough. Didn't cut it enough. And look at that. The rack is almost solved. I think this might be kind of still an issue. I would more than likely have to use this ball to get decent position on the 9 ball. Unless my opponent gets his 3 ball out of the way. Oh, but we slightly overcut the 6. Now what? Now both of these pockets are owned. All right, what the heck am I supposed to do now? So this is what I was talking about before, where normally when you're like skill levels 4 and below, I think even I've even seen some 5s do this. Like they'll just come to the table and just start shooting, right? Where me, I come to the table and I try to figure out how am I going to deal with this and this, and until I come up with a plan, I'll be walking around the table and until I try to figure it out. So it looks like I'm going to be playing this, I think that's the 12 ball. It looks like I might have, I can't tell what's on the cue ball. That's left spin. Am I going to try to get behind the 9? I think I was. I was trying to get somewhere right over here. If we look at that shot again. Whoops. There we go. We look at that shot again. I've got some center left spin so that way I don't hit this 13 ball. And the idea was for the cue ball to come in between the 10 and the 9 and then come over here for position on the 9. I mean, look how it zings off that short rail. Right? And just short of what I actually wanted. Hit the rail here and then come back behind the 9. That way I can shoot the 9 up here. Let's see. So clearly from here, I could shoot the 10 and allow the cue ball to go down table for position on the 13. And here, I got to do some precise cue ball movements. When we look at this shot here, what do you think the options are? All right, here is what the cue ball would do naturally with a rolling cue ball. And so this is something I like to talk about because I mentioned about this a lot with my APA teammates. If you don't know where the cue ball goes all by itself with what is referred to as a rolling cue ball, just slightly above center, because you don't want the cue ball to slide first and then start rolling forward. That's what an absolute center ball hit would do. But if you put the tip of your cue just slightly above center, you automatically start with a rolling cue ball. It's not necessarily the same thing as doing topspin because the cue ball is going to be spinning faster when it does that. Here, just slightly above center just at least allows the cue ball to automatically start rolling forward rather than letting friction of the table grab the cue ball and then start rolling forward. The point is that if you don't know where the cue ball is going to go all by itself, how in the world are you going to expect to help it where you would want it to go? So in other words, since I know that this is where the cue ball is going to go all by itself, I can see two options. I can try to draw the cue ball and delay when it's going to hit the rail to try to get position on the 9, or I can allow the natural path and help it with a little bit of side spin to pull the cue ball over here for position on this ball. Those are at least two options that I see that I can do. There's really nothing else. If I don't get any of those things, then the only thing I'm looking at, like, let's say, for example, my cue ball is coming down this line and I stop right here. Well, then my only other option is going to be maybe try to sneak this ball past the 3 like this, or shoot this ball in and have it go through the 6 ball, one or the other. But I want to stress the idea of if you don't know that this is what the cue ball would do all by itself, then it's going to be really difficult for you to figure out how you can actually control the cue ball to a position that you want. So let's watch how I shoot this ball. I do believe I have a rolling cue ball with some right spin. Now, here's the thing, though. This ball does pass by here, but I'm more than certain I think I wanted the cue ball to land over here so I can shoot into the side pocket. Now, if we look at this angle that I have here, we can see I'm so close to the rail, I automatically have topspin now. I don't have a rolling cue ball, I have topspin. Because the angle that I see here causes this to happen. And my cue ball naturally would go like this if I had a sliding cue ball. So since if I had a rolling cue ball, the cue ball would probably go like this. Since I have a topspin cue ball, I want the cue ball to try to do this and bump into that 9 ball and hopefully get a shot at it. Or wait, am I flat enough to where I can roll past the 8? You can see two hesitations there as I'm really trying to figure out what I'm going to do. Is it flat enough where I can roll past the 8? Oh, it is. It was flat enough to where I can roll past the 8. I luckily got the 3 ball out of the way. So what do you think I can do here? Draw the cue ball off the 9. So that way I can play the 8 ball here into the bottom right corner pocket. Cue ball is going to be just dragging its way over here. There we go. That puts me up 3. So I hope I said what I said made sense about, like I said, understanding where the cue ball goes all by itself. There's an old video that I'd done a long time ago called The Natural Roll of the Cue Ball. That's where I show you about how the cue ball initially will slide across the table if you use a center cue ball, and then it starts to roll. And so depending upon how the cue ball actually contacts the object ball, whether it's sliding or whether it's rolling forward, you have 2 potential paths that the ball will take if you're dealing with a cut angle. But if you're dealing with a straight in shot, you're either going to cause the cue ball to stop right on contact for a stop shot, or the cue ball is just going to slightly roll forward. But if you're dealing with a cut shot, then if it's a sliding cue ball, then the cue ball can go across what's referred to as the tangent line, which is the 90-degree angle from which the object ball is going to travel. So if my index finger indicates where the object ball is going to travel, my thumb would be where the cue ball would travel if I'm cutting to the right. And then if I'm cutting to the left, then the cue ball would go in the opposite direction. So if you don't know that stuff, then figuring out how to maneuver the cue ball around the table is going to be a little tricky for you. It looks like I got a little pop on that one. The cue ball squatted right in the middle of the table. Is that just because of how I hit it, or did I actually try to pop it? I think it's just because the way I hit it. I don't think I'm actually trying to pop the cue ball. Yeah, I think it was just the way that I hit, that I actually struck the cue ball. I wasn't actually trying to pop it. Now, I did make a stripe on the break. I almost made the 8-ball on the break. Look at that. But I can't tell what stripe I made on the break. I see the 10-ball, 11. I can't tell if this is the 12 or the 14. I'm just going to wait. But it looks like I'm starting with the 15 ball. Am I going to break this stuff up? No, I leave it alone. Got position on the 11. I might have position on this ball here. I think the 9 ball is blocked by the 4. Can't tell. Am I stunning in between the 2 and the 3? I am. Threading the needle on that shot there. Now, I'd have to think I'm going to try to run into these 3. This is probably with some center left as I come to the side rail and spin towards them. Oh, never mind. I tried to get behind them. I didn't hit it hard enough, that's for sure. Now, what ball is that? That's either the 12 or the 14 ball. Now, you can't see anything because the camera's because I'm blocking the camera, but I see 2 different shots here. I see how I can either combo the 10 into the corner pocket or carom this ball here off of the 10 to go into the side pocket. So if you saw earlier, I was pointing at two different things earlier when I got here. So right there, you can't see it, but I'm looking at the combo, and then right there, I'm looking at the carom. Now, luckily enough, I don't have to call which one. If this were BCA, I would have to call one of them. I'd either call the combo or I'd call the carom. But here I kind of see both of them, and I think both of them are likely to happen. And I'm elevated on the cue, so I must have a little bit of draw. And look at that. I end up making both of them. But look at my cue ball. I lost my cue ball. The cue ball was actually supposed to be somewhere right around here. So that way I can shoot the 9 ball into the corner pocket. Or the side pocket, I'm sorry. And so, once again, we've seen this plenty of times now. I'm going to attempt the easiest one-rail kick system that I demonstrated on my YouTube channel. So I'll go ahead and try to explain it here. The first thing you saw me do, actually, let's back this up to about right here. The first thing I'm doing is assessing the shot line of the 9-ball. Now, this isn't going to be drawn to scale because I have a off-angled camera here. But I do this so that way I can try to spot where the ghost ball is. And because from the ghost ball, I'm going to draw a straight line to the rail that I want to kick to, which is this right here. So now I have a line that looks like this. Now, what I'm going to do is leave the tip of my cue there, and between this spot here, between the ghost ball spot, where I want the cue ball to end up, and where the cue ball begins, I'm going to find the halfway point. Again, this might not be to scale. And you're going to see me take the butt of my cue and move it over until my cue covers that midpoint. So I end up having a line that looks like this. So let's allow this to go forward. So right there. So now I have a line that looks like that. And now all I'm going to do, or what I'm going to try to do next, is take this line that I've drawn and parallel shift it over the cue ball, which should hopefully give me some sort of spot on the rail that I'm going to want to kick to. Like I said, I didn't draw it to scale because of a crooked angle here. Now, I think that's why I don't know if you saw me kind of like do a little mini squat there. I do believe that's because the 4-ball is kind of in the way of where I need to kick. So I make an adjustment by making sure that I'm going to miss, and I think I hit this a little bit harder than I normally would, so that way I can shorten the outbound angle. Kind of like that. I hope what I just said made sense. Since the 4-ball is blocking where I would need to kick, because if the 4-ball was not there, then I would just use a rolling cue ball and probably use like a lag speed hit to kick straight into the ball. And what I would hope to happen is that the cue ball would just roll forward, like kind of follow after it. So that way I can have a shot at the 8. Since the 4-ball is blocking the path, then that means I have to hit a little bit further up than what I want, which means I'm going to miss the kick. But since I know that there are 2 ways for me to shorten this outbound angle, since this is the angle the cue ball is going to go in, it will come out like this. And I'll most likely hit the 9-ball on the wrong side. But there's 2 ways that I can make the cue ball shorten the outbound angle and hopefully still get the desired result that I want. I can hit the cue ball harder, or since I'm kicking to the left, I would have to throw right spin on the cue ball. Now, in this case here, I don't want to do that. I don't want to use spin. So I still use my rolling cue ball and I hit the cue ball harder, which is why you see it kind of fling right off of the short rail. And because since I'm cutting the 9-ball now by shortening the outbound angle, that's why you see the cue ball track the way that it does. So do you want to call this a lucky shot? I mean, I can say that it is. I mean, look how I came off the 5-ball and got position on the 8. Making the shot, I'm getting better and better at being able to do that. So my probabilities of making kick shots like that keep going up, but I can certainly call everything else after that lucky. I mean, lucky billiard off of the 5-ball, getting perfect position on the 8. But what are we talking about here? Because like, look at what I had to deal with. First, I had this combo carom to a kick shot. I think my cat just knocked over something. Might have to go check on that. So I go from a combo carom to this kick shot and then perfect position on the 8. So I don't think that I couldn't have gotten any luckier on those last few shots the way that I did there. So I'm now on the hill. Anybody that's been following me enough, when I'm on the hill, I attempt to end the match immediately by doing an 8-ball break. So I'll be hitting the ball that's in the second row. I'm on the left side of the table, so I'll be using a little bit of a stun left here to try to pull the cue ball back towards the middle of the table after I hit the ball that's in the second row. There goes the 8-ball. But it ain't going in. All right, let's see here. What did I made a ball on the break. And clearly I don't like the layout if I'm acting like that. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I did make a stripe. And I don't see the 11 ball. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, I'm stripes. Starting off with the 14 ball, probably just a rolling cue ball here to get position on one of these two here. That definitely means it's going to be the 12 ball. 9 ball will most likely be next after that. I'm trying to remember, what did I do with this 13 ball? I would think I'd want the cue ball to roll forward, bump off of the rail to get position on the 9, play the 9 in this corner pocket, and then try to draw the cue ball back over here for position on the 13. More than certain, that's what's going to happen. Like I got a little bit more than a rolling cue ball. Oh, never mind. I'm not shooting the 9 ball now. I must be shooting the 13. If I can shoot the 13, though, I should be able to allow the cue ball to just roll forward and get position on the 9, though. Did I roll forward enough? I don't think I did. Wait, what the heck am I about to do? What am I doing? Oh, holy crap! I don't remember that. All right, so let's go back to here. So if I prioritize this the way that I did on that last shot, that must mean that when I played this 13 ball, played the 13 ball into the side pocket, that must mean I wanted the cue ball to stop somewhere right around here. So when you see me do this, that means I'm hooked behind my own ball. So that means I wanted to play here, to play the 10, to get position on the 9. That's what I wanted to happen. But since I didn't get this position, I go ahead and elect to do this combo and try to force the cue ball back up here for position on the 9, not really knowing whether or not if I'm going to have a decent position for that 15 ball, because you can see the 15 ball comes right off of the 8. Now look how flat I am on the 9. Here's a poll for everybody. Who plays this forward like this? And who plays it like this? Who goes forward and who goes backwards? Let me see it in the chat. Who's gonna try to go off this short rail or off this side rail, or who's gonna try to draw back? Or matter of fact, well, we can't do this. Like, we're not doing that. That's unreasonable because of how flat the ball is. But who's drawing the ball and who's following the ball? Before I let this play on. We got one for draw. We got one for follow. We got another one for draw. We got another one for follow. Follow's now winning. Everybody's liking to go forward. We got another vote for back. I think we're split right now. Got another vote for forward. All right. We got another vote for forward. Everybody likes going forward. We even got some Facebook viewers. Thank you so much for being here, Tony Sinclair. Tony Sinclair wants to go backwards. I think this is a pretty good split of people that want to go forward versus going backwards. But you can see me. I'm going backwards. Look at that. Bottom right spin. And I didn't quite get it. But I'm okay. You can see that right there, how I quickly try to drew that if I do a rail first shot, I need the cue ball to come all the way around so that way I can shoot the 8 in the same corner. I think here this is done with the top left spin. Rail first. Cue ball. Watch the cue ball just zing off the short rail here. Actually, that one didn't zing at all. But there we go. 8 ball in the same corner pocket. And I ended the match with a break and run. Ta-da! I was able to take that one down 5-0. I think I have the inning count correctly. I'm not entirely sure, but I got it done in 10 innings. Kyle Kerr, you want to know if there's any jump cues in the APA? There isn't. You're only allowed to use your playing cue, and you're allowed to have a breaking cue, and that is it. And if you are going to jump you are allowed to jump in the APA unless the bar does not allow jump shots or masse shots in their bar. You have to use your playing cue. You cannot use a specialty cue. You cannot even go grab your break cue to try to be able to perform a jump shot. I think it clearly states in the rulebook that you have to use your playing cue. Okay, so I mean there was only so much advice I think I could have offered my opponent there, considering that he was playing with a little bit of a handicap there. But the same principle still applies, even though he was playing with a handicap. You saw the most common comment that I kept giving was, what is he going to do when he gets here? When he gets to a certain area, right? Which I think is probably the most common mistake that I see most in the APA, is that a player will assess the layout of the table and they will make the balls that they know that they can make, and then just not be sure with what they're going to do with the balls that they can't make. And when they do that, that ends up putting them in a position where they're most likely going to lose the game. Now, that's not to say that that's always going to happen, because like if you're playing up against like skill level 2s and skill level 3s and they're playing against each other, if a skill level 3 were to get down to like the last 2 balls, then chances are that skill level 3 might be able to come back to the table if their opponent is another skill level 3. The likelihood of a skill level 3 running out an entire table is very low. It's certainly possible, but as you get higher up the skill ladder, skill level 5s, skill level 6s, skill level 7s, when you work yourself in a position where you only have 1 or 2 balls, or you're on the 8 ball and you weren't able to finish the rack, then more than likely you're going to lose the rack. Now, if you put yourself in a position where you knew you weren't going to make the 8 ball because it was just going to be a difficult position, or you knew you weren't going to be able to make your last 2 balls or your last ball, you're kind of asking to lose at that point. So when you're trying to run the table while you're assessing the table, do realize that if you can say to yourself, I can't run the table, then you probably should not be making the balls that you're trying to make just because they're makeable. If anything, push those balls towards the pockets and block the pockets until you're able to deal with the balls that you know that are going to give you the most trouble. Of course, while you're doing that, you are still taking the risk that your opponent might still be able to run the table. But if you're at least blocking a pocket that opponent needs, you might have a chance. Like your chances are okay. There's still a possibility that you can lose the rack, but it's at least the possibility of you winning the rack is going to be a little bit higher when you don't clear off the entire table for your opponent and then didn't realize that you're just not going to run the rack. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, I will be right back. I need to go see what the cat might have knocked down. Give me just a minute. Well, this little guy it just knocked over a book that was on one of my end tables that I have in the living room. So he's in a playful mood. He's in a playful mood. All right. Okay, so this is a point here where I can just take a small break and get everything set up for the next match. So I'm open to, I can try to answer any questions if anybody has any. So feel free to ask some questions while I get the next match set up. Oh, everybody gets to, oh, really? I'm not torturing you. What's wrong? Hmm? Oh, okay. Look at that. Here, get down then. Ugh. Don't knock anything over. Okay, let's see here. Oh, Robert Allison, you want to know if there are any new toys in the corner? I don't think so. I don't think I've added anything over here. Let me double check. No, not yet. Nothing new has been added. I gotta get rid of those things first before I before I expand the collection. Well, let me rephrase that. Not everything that's back there is going to be given away. Some of the stuff that's back there, I am keeping. Let's see, Mike Myers, you want to know what tip size I use? So I have a Predator Icon 4.5 that I recently bought from Darren Appleton. That cue came with a 12.4 millimeter Revo shaft. So I play with that from time to time when I'm playing straight pool. But primarily, my Predator Black 4.5 that I have in my case, that has a 12.9 Revo shaft on it, as well as my Predator Tuxedo cue that I usually play in my garage with my garage as well. That also has a 12.9 millimeter shaft on it. When I bought the Predator Icon 4.5, I didn't realize that it was coming with a 12.4, and I don't think I had an option to change it at the time. But since it was from Darren Appleton, I couldn't resist being able to buy a cue from a professional pool player, so that's why I bought it. But primarily, the tip size that I do use is 12.9. Let's see here. Lucas Earl, you just got here. Am I doing a giveaway? Well, welcome to the stream. The answer is yes. So if you look at the pinned comment in the YouTube live chat, or if you're on Facebook and look at the pinned comment on the Facebook live chat, I have 2 of the J Flowers Power Jump Cue. Otherwise, this is the JFJP2, otherwise known as the Power Jump Cue. The pinned comments has a link to the product review that I did on this, where I basically just broke down the entire specs, verified everything, and then tested the cue out by doing a couple of, I did 4 jump shots in the product review video. So what I'm doing is that after some time, I'm going to give this cue away plus this one, because I have 2 of them. So the way my giveaway works, I've done these in the past. If you're new to my channel, if you've never seen these before, you have to go and watch that product review video. You have to like the video, and you have to comment on the video. But the biggest thing is that you have to be a subscriber to my channel. Once you're subscribed to my channel, you also need to make sure that your subscription list is public, because after some time has passed by, I'm going to do another live stream just like this, and I'm going to randomly select 2 comments from that product review video. And what'll end up happening is when I select the comment, I'm going to go to that comment's YouTube channel. And it doesn't matter that if they produce content or not. That's not relevant. What happens is when I go to their YouTube channel, I check to see if their subscription list is public. Because if it's not, then they're not even going to be an eligible winner, and I'm just going to pick somebody else. If I can see their subscription list, then I want to see that I'm in their subscription list, and that's what makes them a valid winner. A valid winner also if they're able to verify who they are, because another security step that I've added is that when I pick the winner has to contact me and I give them a code. And what they do with that code is they go find their comment on that I selected, and they have to edit their comment and put that code in that I give. So that way I know whoever's contacting me is the person that owns the comment, because only the owner of the comment is going to be able to edit the comment. So far in all of the giveaways that I've ever done, I've never had a false person come forward and try to claim the prize, though that was something I was always worried about actually happening. But then one of my other YouTube friends, Shortstop on Pool, when he did his giveaway, I saw him do that as an extra security step. The person contacted him, he gave them a code, and they went and edited their comment with that code, so that way whoever is contacting them, whether it's on email or Facebook Messenger or whatever, he knew that he was talking to the right person. So that's something that I've added into mine. So the question on everybody's mind will be, well, when am I going to pick the winners? Well, I'm not going to tell you that. Basically, is that product review video is going to sit, gather up its views, gather up its comments, because the queue is worth $320. Now, one of them was provided to me by J Flowers to do a review. The other one I bought from my local pool hall, because my local pool hall owners are now official dealers for J Flowers. Now, nobody in my area wanted to buy the jump cue, so I went ahead and bought it. That's how I'm able to give away 2 of them, right? So that's $600. The queue is worth $320. So that's $640 package that I'm giving away for free, which is the purpose of the YouTube video. I need that video to gather up some ad revenue, because I am monetized on YouTube. I make a little bit of money on it. It doesn't pay me anywhere near what I do for my 9-to-5 as a software developer. But the extra income goes towards being able to do stuff like this, being able to buy cues, review them, give them away for free, improve my computer equipment, so that way I can try to have better audio, better cameras, et cetera, et cetera. I basically reinvest all of my YouTube ad revenue into my show with giveaways, with better equipment, so on and so forth. So yeah, so like I said, some time is going to pass by. It won't be too terribly long, but I want that video to get views, which is why I ask that everybody share that video, so that way it can generate more views. Share it on different social media platforms, whether you're on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. Just do whatever you can to just share it around, because I'm only on Facebook, YouTube, and on Reddit. But anybody that follows me long enough knows that the billiard subreddit does not like J-Flower equipment for whatever reason. Okay, so because of a fiasco that I went with the billiard subreddit on Reddit, I don't let them know about my giveaways. Now, if there's any Redditors or any people that's on here that are from Reddit that use Reddit, I mean, fine. You at least know about it. But none of this stuff is published on Reddit whenever I do a giveaway. So yeah, thank you so much, Lucas Earl, for being here. So I hope I answered your question on that one. Nice long-winded answer. Yeah, so Jeff Peschel, you have a YouTube channel. Your name that you're commenting on right now. The fact that you can view a YouTube video, you have a YouTube channel. Okay, it's just like I said, you don't have any content. Like I can take your name right now and probably go to your YouTube channel, right? Especially if you were to comment using this account here, right? So that's the account that if you happen to be the winner, this would be the account that you have to have a public subscription list, so that way I can verify that you're one of my subscribers. Hey, Rogers Brandoms, how's it going? You're talking about Saturday, not tomorrow. Saturday is the tournament in Waco. I think I will more than likely be able to come to that tournament. I think. At one point in time, I thought I was going to be busy, but I think I might be able to make this month's tournament. All right, I'm going to look around to see if there is any other comments. for questions, because if there isn't, then I'm going to go ahead and start the next match. And I don't see anything. I will show off this. Kenny Arias, I hope I said that correctly. It says, you're following from the Dominican Republic. Keep doing great stuff. Really do appreciate that, man. Really do appreciate that. Okay, let's go on to the next match. All right, here we are. I see this question here. I will go ahead and highlight it. It says, you're wanting to know if I have any experience with the Predator Aspire cues. Isn't the Aspire line basically like their affordable line? I think it would be comparable to QTech's Avid line. Let me check their prices. Yeah. Yeah, because the Aspire line looks like it. Their highest Q is about. Oh no, there's more. Let me see. At least I think there's more. It looks like their highest Q is $600, and then it goes lower from there. Looks like the lowest is about $369. So a tad bit more affordable than their high dollar ones. Like I said, I think it's comparable to the QTech Avid Qs. So yeah, like I don't have any personal experience with them, but I'm a huge fan of the Predator equipment. So I can only imagine that these Qs are probably fine. You know, it's really just gonna matter on what kind of shaft do you have. Do you want to use their Z3 shaft, or do you want to use their Revo shaft, or I think they have like 3 or 4 different shafts. Now I'm currently a fan of using the Revo shaft, so that's pretty much what I would at least recommend. But taking a Revo shaft and putting it on an Aspired Q, that means you've now taken a $300 Q and turned it into an $800 Q. So it's like, what are you gonna do at that point? All right. Oh, this is a good question before I get started. Jose Rentas, I hope I said that correctly. It says, do you play as many safes as you would in 9-ball? And how's your mentality as far as safety goes when playing 8-ball and related to 9-ball? The answer is it depends, right? So a lot of times, if I can break super well in 8-ball, then it's going to depend on the layout, right? Because if I say to myself that the layout is runnable and my cue ball control is where it's supposed to be, then I'm going to attempt to run the table. I don't see how that mentality would be any different in a game of 9-ball, whether it's off of the break or whether I come to the table. I'm going to ask myself the same question. Am I able to run the table from where I'm at? If the answer is yes, I'm more than likely, or if the percentages of me being able to successfully do it are rather high, or I've at least determined them to be rather high, then I'm going to attempt to run the table. But if they're not, then I'm going to play some sort of safety. And it's all going to depend on how my opponent answers the safety back. Like, are they able to get out of it? Do I get ball in hand? You know, et cetera, et cetera. So it really just depends. It's pretty much an even split. It's because it's all just scenario based. So good question though. I like that one. Now, here in this matchup, I'm playing up against another skill level 7. So this is going to be a race to 5. Now this is a Wednesday match. The last match that we just looked at was from Monday. This match is from Wednesday, and this match was 2 weeks ago. This one was 2 weeks ago. The last match was like, I think 3 or 4 weeks ago. This one is only from 2 weeks ago. So we're pretty much going to do the same thing. We're going to see if there are things that I could have done better, things that my opponent could have done better, and see how we all can learn from this stuff. So let's start with the lag. Now you can see both of us lag terribly, but I ended up at least winning the lag. Murky Joker, you want to know if I have any patches for myself? Not at the moment. I haven't really, like, I haven't wanted to get my channel or to get my brand, if you will, to a point to where, like, it's a business, right? Because I make the money that I make off of making my YouTube videos, off of the live streams, you know, or whatever, because that's all supplemental income for me in comparison to what I make, in comparison to my annual salary for my 9-to-5 job, right? So I don't really want to have this become a job, because that's just more work on me to have to do after work. Right? And work already runs me rampant enough as it is. You know, is it something that I might eventually get around to? It's certainly a possibility. I'm not going to say that it's not possible. It certainly is possible. But at the moment, I do not have any patches. Now here, notice how my queue is raised, because this was, like I said, this was 2 weeks ago. Now I'm back to pop breaking. Right, I wasn't pop breaking a couple of days ago, but now I'm back to pop breaking. So first, you see my cue dip all the way down to the bottom of the cue ball as I tried to line up the bottom of the cue ball to the bottom of the one ball, because I want to try to hit that one ball as flat as I possibly can. Then you're going to see my cue come up a little bit to about here, where I can do like 1 or 2 more final practice strokes, and then you're going to see my the tip of my cue rise as I try to hit the cue ball right here, and you're going to actually see my cue like come up. Like this, especially if it comes up too high, so that way I can actually create the pop that you're going to see on some of these racks. And some of them go good, some of them go bad. And like I said, the reason why I stopped is because it's very common to where when the cue ball hits the rack, it pops into the air, and when it hits the table, it either scratches over here or it scratches over here. And there was a point in time where I just got tired of that happening, but I started practicing it a little bit more. My hit of the rack was getting a little bit better, so I started trying it again. So you can see how the cue ball kind of popped back. It almost stopped around this area, but it got kicked. It got kicked by another ball. Now I do believe I made a solid on the break. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I made the 7 ball. So look at this. So what was the name of the gentleman? Jose Rentas. You were asking me about like how often do I play safe? Do I play safe as much as 9 ball? Did I do 8 ball? Look at the table here. I'm solids. I don't think I made a stripe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I'm solids. But look at the table. Like, if you were solids and you were in this position, what would you end up telling yourself? Would you tell yourself, you could probably run the table, right? So long as your cue ball control is where it's supposed to be, right? There's no trouble spots on the table, like at all. All the solids are out in the open. Heck, all of the stripes are kind of out in the open except for the 3 ball blocking the stripes here. All right, so this is what makes, if you happen to be stripes, this would make this a little difficult. But when you look at solids, there's no issue with solids at all that I can see, right? So because of that, I'm going to attempt to try to run the table. There's no reason for me not to try, at least for my skill level. Whereas if I say to myself at this point, I'm probably not going to run the table, then I would probably figure out where I'm going to play safe. So first I can see here that I'm going to be shooting the 2 ball here into the side pocket, and the cue ball is just going to drift forward since I'm so close to the rail. All right, little friendly bump on the 6 ball. Automatic position for the 4 ball here. Didn't tie up the 6 ball with that because that would have not been very good. So having to bridge over everything, shooting the 4 ball, more than likely just following the cue ball for position on the 1 next. And what am I doing here? I lowered the cue a little bit. Am I going to try to thread between these two and have the cue ball come this way? I am. Look at that. Got position on the 6. I have position for a 5-3 combo, or I have a shot at the 3. One or the other. Now, here's a good question. What do y'all do here? This is what we like. This is what we like to refer to as end patterns. Like if you didn't have a plan on how you're going to run the table, there's got to be a point in time where you have to have a plan. You don't want to just play like 1 ball at a time, especially like when you're playing 9 ball. You don't really think like 1 ball ahead. You think 2 or 3 balls ahead. So when you look at the layout of this, if you were to run the table, what would y'all do here? Right? And there's plenty of options, and there's it's not like there's a wrong option either. There's just options that are better, right? So if we look at some of the comments that are coming in, Bree says play the 6 first, then the 3, then the 5. Dustin Dover says the same thing. JC says the same thing. Now Rick Ward says he likes the 3 ball, the 5 ball, and then the 6 ball, and then the 8 ball. So Rick, I'm thinking that you're talking about what? Probably shooting this in. Bottom left spin to get the 5 like this. Roll forward for the 6, and then play the 8 in the corner or the 8 in the side. One or the other. I don't really see an issue with that. We've got Robert Allison is saying climb the ladder and do 3, 5, 6. Richard M says 6, 3, 5, 8 in the middle. All right, so we've got a pretty good consensus of 6, 6, 3, 5 that I see. And if I remember correctly, I agree with the 6, 3, 5. I think. Right, I agree. I think I agreed with the 6, 3, 5 because of this comment here. Less cue ball movement. Now, what I don't remember is, did I just roll forward or did I draw back? No, I just stopped the cue ball. Right, because now I think I'm just going to try to cut the ball in, have the cue ball come off the side or come off the short rail and get position for the 5 in the side pocket. Kind of like that. And then look, there's nothing I have to do to go from the 5 to the 8. All I have to do is just roll the ball in. And the 8 ball goes in the side pocket. All right, so this is kind of what I also like to do in straight pull, where I try to minimize my cue ball movement as much as I can. And then look, we start this set off with a break and run. Okay, so here we go with another pop break. Now see that one? I end up popping too high, right? Because like what happens here is I'm dropping my elbow so that way I can bring my tip up. I'm gonna play this slowly. But right here, you can see I'm coming up and then watch my cue go up and see it goes up too far. Now, one of the things I'm starting to learn about doing this pop break is that the more force I try to put into this, I get completely inaccurate, or I start to become much more less accurate with how I actually strike the cue ball, because I actually struck the cue ball like here when I'm trying to strike the cue ball here. So what I've been doing when I practice this break is I do it slowly. You know, because I'm dropping my elbow to try to flatten my cue at the appropriate height to be able to strike the cue ball correctly and cause the pop break to actually occur. Now, the pop break still occurs, right? We can watch the cue ball hit the rack. Look, it's in the air. It's off the table, but it's got too much forward momentum to where instead of stopping, it just zips itself forward, right? And I don't want it to do that. I want it to just stop. Now look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I made 2 solids on the break. It looks like I made the 1 ball and the 3 ball. So does solids look runnable from here? I'm not entirely sure, but what I can say though is I do try it, because what I end up trying to do is this 7 ball can't be made here, but both of these stripes block it. But what I do end up trying to do is I've got some right spin on this cue ball because I want to try to spin it in. I bank it to where it misses it hits the rail here and misses this ball, and I was hoping that I transferred enough left spin into the 7 ball for it to go over here. That's hoping that my cue ball will go this way, bump into the 15 ball, and my only hopes in being able to run the table is to shoot this ball through this stripe and have it go in. If I make the bank shot and get that 5 ball to go through the stripe, then I might be able to run the table. That's at least what I was trying to do. See, and I didn't get it, right? I didn't get it. No, Dustin Dover, the 7-ball would not be able to play off the 11. The other stripe is in the way. But look at the position I got. So the only thing I can try to do now is try to roll the 5 into the 11 with enough force, and so enough force to where the 5-ball can push its way through the 11 and fall in. Then I might be able to have a chance at running the table. Otherwise, I'd have to bank the 5, right? Because look at the position I'm in. I could probably try to play the 2-ball next and then have to get an angle to where I can bank the 5 and then still try to go out. One or the other. But now my opponent gets a shot at the table. I didn't let him shoot last rack. Starts off with a really good cut shot. I think that was the 12-ball that went in. So in my opponent's shoes, I have to wonder, what is he going to do with this 15-ball? Is he going to want to play a 3-ball combination? That might be what he's thinking about. Oh, that had to have been what he was thinking about. Oh, look at that. All right, let's see it, everybody. What does APA stand for? Spam the chat. What does APA stand for? Let's look at that one more time. Oh, that was great. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, that's too good. Now, I do want to at least address one little thing that I haven't seen it so far in the chat here. Everybody's been a pretty good sport about it, about the idea of just slop shots being in the 8-ball or let alone in APA. Let's be honest with ourselves. If this were the national tournament and that shot there allowed you to win first place, are you going to care? Now, I know the argument would be, well, this is not the national tournament, so why are you even trying to use that as an argument? It's like, because the argument stays consistent, right? The whole idea is that since slop is allowed in the APA, right, it's just the rules, right? The rules are being followed, right? So I would tend to think that you would want to criticize the rules to where, like, you would say, like, well, I call my shots, or whatever, and that's fine. If you want to call your shots, call your shots. But I would almost bet that if that happened to you in a tournament that was going to allow you to win a lot of money, you wouldn't care. So you should basically just take that same attitude and just carry it across all scenarios. That's all I want to say on that one. Now, what happened? It looked like my opponent fouled. Looks like he was trying to either cut the 15 or cut the 9, accidentally runs into my 2-ball, and I have ball in hand. All right, so there's one inning there. So what did my opponent run off the table? I see the 10 balls gone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't see the 11 ball either. This is pretty much what I like to do also, Dustin. Like, I personally don't like getting lucky either. And what I usually do is I look at my opponent and I just kind of just like put my hand up as a gesture to say, sorry for getting lucky, but I'm still shooting. I do the same exact thing even when I'm playing 9-ball, right? Because slop and 9-ball is perfectly fine. Now, this shot that I just did here, this was a mistake. Like, the cue ball is not supposed to be anywhere near this ball here. I ended up accidentally hitting it too hard because I was supposed to get position for the 2-ball to get position on the 6-ball. I ended up hitting this shot too hard. Yeah, I mean, Tim Crumley, I actually like this comment. It says you can't remember the time in your 40s where a slop shot cost you the match, but lucky leaves beat you more. I mean, like I said, it sucks obviously when lucky stuff goes against us, right? We just don't like it, but we're certainly not opposed when it favors us, right? So that it kind of becomes a double standard is all, and I'm not really all for double standards. Now, even though I was positioned over the 14 ball, I still went ahead and shot the 2 ball, but now you can see I messed things up. So the table is now unrunnable for me, so I attempt to play a defensive shot by playing the 6 the way I did and knock my opponent's ball in, but the 6 ball was supposed to be protecting the cue ball. Right? The 6 ball moved out too far. So now I allow my opponent to come at the table with a free shot at the 9 ball. So if my opponent successfully shoots the 9 into the side, you can see the cue ball is going to be coming down table here. Just like that. That's a good shot. He's going to have position on the 13 ball, it looks like. Okay, good shot on the 13. Looks like he could have hit that one maybe just a tad bit harder. Like, this is a makeable shot, but the shot could have been a little bit easier. Where is he going to play the 8 ball if he makes this? It's like he's spinning the cue ball. Doesn't cut the 14 ball in. Allows me to come back to the table to this. So had he made it, I guess, does the 8 ball go? I guess the 8 ball would be going in the side pocket, or he'd shoot it all the way down here. Now, what does everybody do in this position? Look at my 5 ball. 5 ball can be kind of tricky. All right, so what do we do? Clearly, I'm making the 6 ball, but what do we do? Do I make the 6 and get position for the 4, play the 5 up here, and play the 8 in the same corner? Let's see. We got 6, 4, 5. We've got 6, 5. Anybody else? Murky Joker says set up for a bank, so you want to shoot the 6 ball and possibly put the cue ball somewhere right around here to be able to cross bank the 5 ball into the side pocket. We got 6 stun off the 4 and then the 5. 6 to bump into the 5. And then 6. So it looks like we got a pretty good consensus on 6, 4, 5. But Dustin Dover, you hit the nail on the head. Because I'm going to try to push that 5 ball right in front of the side pocket. So you can see I've got the bottom spin on the cue ball. And I get exactly what I want. So here, I can pretty much do whatever I want. I can shoot the 4 ball or I can shoot the 5 ball. It doesn't really matter. So I go ahead and decide to shoot the 5 ball. Get the angle that I get on the 4 ball here. So that way I can use bottom left spin to pull the cue ball back to shoot the 8 ball here into the corner pocket. Oh, never mind. I said that wrong. Holy cow. Cannot believe I forgot about that. The high inside 3 railer. Why? Because the cue ball is going towards the 8 ball once it hits this rail. Right? Guaranteeing me position. Now, when we go back to this though, let's talk a little bit more about this. Clearly, things could have gone wrong for me. Things could have gone wrong. What could have happened here? Right? I could have missed it altogether. I could have hit the rail sooner and missed it altogether, but then I'm doing everybody else's pattern. I'm doing 6, 4, 5. I could have accidentally bumped this into it too much and just sent it past the side pockets where I have to play a 5-4 combination. That would suck. Or I could have bumped this far enough here as well, and my cue ball still comes out here to where I have to still play the 4 ball and then play the 5 ball either here or here. Clearly, things could have gone wrong. I felt confident in doing what I was doing, and I was successful at doing what I was doing. All right, so I played this. Like I said, got that nice little friendly bump, and then totally forgot this part here. So here's a good question. How many of y'all would actually do this instead? Because I did say bottom left. How many of y'all would do that? How many of y'all would attempt to shoot the 4 ball into the corner pocket, have the cue ball hit the rail, come back like this, and then try to get positioned like this? I know there's got to be some players out there that'll do that because that's how I used to play in the past until I went to Minnesota to train with Demetrius at MN Pool Boot Camp. And I learned more and more about the high inside 3 railer. How many would try to do this? Murky Joker says he would try to do the bottom left spin. It's not like there's anything wrong with going this route. But clearly what could happen is if you don't judge the speed correctly, you could hit wrong here. If you don't judge the speed correctly, you can lose your shot here. Whereas the high inside 3 railer, in my opinion, just has a higher result at being successful. It allows me to let my stroke out a little bit with the top right spin. I don't have to baby this ball. I just have to make sure that I hit it hard enough to where the moment I hit this rail, anywhere on this rail, I am guaranteed position as I start floating towards the 8-ball. Now, clearly, I don't want to hit it too hard to where I just lose the position, but I can at least hit it with good confidence and not really have to worry about anything. Now, JC, you're saying you can scratch. Well, I mean, I think that applies to any shot, right? Because any option that is taken, there could be a devil's advocate to it, right? If we were to go back and look at this shot one more time, what could happen to me? This could happen, where I could scratch in this corner pocket. If I do the bottom left spin, this could happen, right? Every shot can pretty much have a devil's advocate to it, one way or the other. So when you take into account your skill level and how well you think you can control the ball, then you're going to most likely want to choose the one that you have the higher % chance of being successful. Like I said, before I started learning about inside 2 railers and inside 3 railers, I would have played the shot like this. That's what I would have done in the past. Now that I've gotten a little bit better, I'm more comfortable doing this route and realizing that this route is just has a higher % chance at being successful at making the ball and getting position on the 8-ball at the same time. There we go. Nice straight line on the 8-ball. As long as I don't screw up, because that's still certainly an option. How many of y'all have missed a shot like this before? Right, because it does happen. It just didn't happen on this one. Look at that pop. Look at that. That was a pretty decent pop. Look how high it goes into the air. Comes all the way back and see right here. See how it's coming towards the side rail? This is where I would say normally it would just zing right into the side pocket, but it looks like it was going to miss, but gets kicked all the way up here. So that would have been an unfortunate scratch had I scratched on that one. But it looks like I broke dry on that one. My opponent likes stripes. What the heck was that? Wow. Y'all see how the cue ball hops onto the rail and then comes back on the table? Look at that. How cool is that? I don't think that was intentional, though. Especially with the position that he got. Oh, what a shot. Wow, he shot that in with authority. That didn't look right. There's no way in the world he's set up for a bank shot. He must have been trying to get position on the 9-ball or the 11-ball. And because he ran into my 2-ball, it stopped his cue ball. Yeah, he must have been trying to get position on the 9 or 11, but now he's forced to do a bank shot. That's a little unlucky there. Oh, dang, just barely missed. Look at it. That's exactly what my behavior would be. I'd be like, how did I miss that? Like, I thought the pace was perfect. Okay, everybody, let's have a look at solids. What do we do here? Got a couple of problem spots here, wouldn't we say? This is kind of an issue. This is kind of an issue. And this is kind of an issue. Everything else looks okay. Right? So we want... The cat just scared me. What do you want? Okay, at any rate, let's see here. So like I said, we want to try to solve our problem spots as soon as possible here. So I don't really remember exactly what I did here, so let's see where I start. I mean, I'm more than willing to bet that I have to start with the 7 ball. Let's see if I start remembering what happens. Yeah, so I start with the 7 ball. Top spin on the cue ball, probably to bring the cue ball towards the middle of the table. That was top right spin. I killed the angle off of that one. That's for position on this guy right here then. And that means I have to be shooting the 6, and I'm more than likely going to be trying to transition to the 2. More than likely. And that's probably with bottom and a twist of left spin. Looks like I have more bottom than I indicated. Somewhere right around there. Yeah, there I am trying to get position for the 2. I got it. So now I'm going to want to get position on this 1 ball. Which side would y'all get position on? The left side or the right side? Because I'm going for the left. That way I can shoot the 1 into this pocket here. But you can see the right side's a little bit easier because that's where the cue ball naturally wants to go. So this is another bottom left spin here. Bring the cue ball somewhere over here. I think I hit that one just a little too hard, but we're okay. Now, do y'all see what I'm doing here? So by now, I've come up with the, I think I've come up with the rest of the route here. The question is going to be is I don't remember if I'm going to play from the 1 to the 5 or the 1 to the 3. I would think that I would want to play from the 1 to the 5 first. Because you saw that I came over here to look because the 5 ball goes. And if I can land in the window that I need, then the cue ball will bump into the 4 ball. And I'd want this 3 ball to be a backup shot just in case I don't get position on the 4. So I do believe I tried to play from the 1 to the 3 or from to the 5. And if I don't get what I'm looking for, then I end up using the 3 ball to try to get better. That looks like I'm doing this. Yeah. So kind of a stun shot. Yeah, see, so I can choose between the 2. But if I'm in position for the 5, then I should go ahead and try to take it. Knowing that my cue ball is going to bump into the 4 ball, and ideally, I would probably want to get position on the 4. Nope, never mind. That looks like stun. Yeah, so that way I can end up on this side. Now see, if I didn't get position on the 4, I still have shape on the 3. But now I do have shape on the 4 ball, so now I can just come over to the side round, get position on the 3. This should more likely be with some like top left spin. And then what am I doing here? Is this top right spin? Am I gonna do a 2-railer? Do the same thing, kind of come into the line of the 8 ball? Or is it gonna be a 1-railer? No, it's just a 1-railer. I think I didn't bother with side spin because I'm elevated over the cue ball. When we look at this, since I'm elevated over the 8, I don't want to accidentally masse the cue ball. So I end up just using top spin. And you can see where I'm tapping on the table where I really wanted the cue ball. I just didn't hit the cue ball hard enough. All right, look where it's going. All right, so if I'd just hit it hard enough, the cue ball would have landed somewhere right around here, and my shot would have been easier. So it looks like I'm just gonna stun the cue ball. Probably a twist to left spin so I can gear the 8 ball in. There we go. I take that one down. Lots of tight movement in that one there. See that? How the cue ball almost scratched in the side pocket? And again, that's me learning about if I'm too forceful with the pop break. So basically what I've been trying to do is take more body movement out of doing the pop break. I still have to drop my elbow at the right time. You know, timing has to be everything. Drop my elbow at the right time so that way I can contact just slightly above center to get the appropriate pop on the table, and then and to be able to get the cue ball to squat near the middle of the table. Now let's look at this though. What did I do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So all the stripes are still on the table. Looks like I made the 2 ball and the 4 ball. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm solids again, right? Since I can't choose stripes, since I didn't make a stripe. But again, look at the table if I have a decent pop break. Right? The table is wide open. Whether you're solids or stripes are runnable from here. Right? So it doesn't really matter. But again, this is a situation now to where I can look at this table and go, I'm going to try to run it. Like there's no reason for me to not try to run this. So it looks like I might be stunning the ball for the 7 ball here. Or maybe it's a rolling cue ball. I can't tell. Nope, that's a stun shot. Never mind. That was a stun shot. Position on the 1. Most likely a stop shot for the 3 ball. Or do I have to stun it? Because I can't tell if I have an angle or not. That's a lot of draw. What am I doing? Am I drawing to the side rail and coming back out? I drew to the side rail and came back out. So things could have went wrong there. If I didn't come out far enough, I won't have a shot at 3 ball. Because now here, I would think I would play the 3 ball with a bit of a stop shot. Looks like slightly below center. Stun. Okay, so I wasn't straight in. Probably just do the same thing here. Stun with a twist of left so that way I can have an angle on the 6. Or maybe roll with a twist of left, not stun. I want the cue ball to be somewhere right around here. Yep. Because now I can just play this with left spin and play the 8 ball in the same pocket. Cue ball should just come straight down the middle of the table and have position on the 8 for the same pocket. Just like that. Another break and run from a semi-successful pop break. There we go. I don't think I have the inning count correctly. Or I don't think I have the inning count correct. So do I end this with an 8 ball break? 2 break and runs and an 8 ball break? That'd be cool. Nope, not quite. And see, here's what I was talking about with that second ball break, how all the balls just kind of clutter up to one side. But what happened here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Looks like I'm only stripes this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 stripes this time. Let's see. It's like the 12 and the 14. What do y'all do here? The 9 ball is actually blocked by the 15 ball, if I remember this spot correctly. So I can't just shoot directly at the 9 ball. What I end up doing here is I billiard off of the 15 ball because it's a natural billiard into the 9 to play the 9 into the corner pocket. Kind of like that. So now when we look at the table from here, like this is my only trouble spot that I have left to deal with. Everything else is okay. It's just that, what do I do from here? Do I shoot the 13 or do I shoot the 11? Because the only pocket that's accessible is this pocket here. There, I just checked to see if the 13 ball goes here, and it does. Justin Dover, I like the way you think. I think we've agreed on a lot of things so far for this match, because I do try to shoot the 11 ball. So I think here, I'm wanting that 6 ball to stop my cue ball. Kind of like that. But I missed the shot. This is actually a good question that I like. This is from Woodfin Sprayberry. It says, do you think your cue ball control is better after doing drills after going to the Texas Open? So, I mean, is it just from the drills? I mean, no. I want to answer it that way. Is my cue ball control getting better? Yes, my cue ball control is getting better. The more I play straight pool, and I come in scenarios where I have to make tighter movements. I'm obviously on the table a whole lot more, so I get chances to be able to improve my cue ball control, et cetera, improve my aim. The idea of hitting a million balls using the Hamby method, to where like things naturally start to get better and better. But as I talked about before, I am trying to do more drill-like work, because I'm not really a fan of drills, but I mean, I'm trying to incorporate them, and I will be trying to make videos on not me presenting a drill like how to do the drill, but me doing a drill for me to analyze like where my flaws are at. What flaws will the drill expose to me? So that way I can figure out how I'm going to try to fix them. And so hopefully like some sort of video like that will not only benefit me because I'm watching myself play, like how I'm doing this, where I'm watching my own matches here and figuring out things that I can do better to play better. But then when I'm watching myself go through a drill, what can I do to improve whatever flaw gets revealed from the drill that not only benefits me, but might benefit y'all if y'all end up having the same kinds of issues. So good question. I like that. Okay, I kind of missed what happened there since I was answering that question, which is not a big deal. I can't tell if my 10 ball goes past this these two solids here. Looks like I'm shooting the 11. What am I doing? Cut the 11 in. That means I now have position on the 15 or the 13 ball. Yes, so the 10 does go past. So that means I have to shoot the 15 ball, because I'm expecting my cue ball to do this. You can see that I've got the top spin, and I probably have a twist of left spin on here as well, because what I'm expecting is this. I want to be able to shoot the 15 ball into the corner pocket, have my cue ball come up here, and then come over here and bump into the 1 or the 8. It doesn't really matter, because then that's going to give me a shot at this 10 ball, because I think this is my critical ball here that I have to worry about. Kind of like that. There goes the 10. That was with top right spin, and I don't think I hit it hard enough. Yeah, I can see that's where I wanted the cue ball to be so I could have a shot at my 13 ball. I did not hit it hard enough. Oh, what do y'all think I'm going to do in this situation? I am contemplating massing into it. That does come to mind every once in a while. But as y'all see, here comes another attempt. So here I am going through the same measurements of that kick shot system. If you haven't seen that video that I've done, I highly recommend watching it. Right, because I think there's been at least 3 or 4, maybe 4 or 5 times where I have successfully used this system and kicked a ball in. Just not this time. Right? I can't make it all the time. But look how accurate it is. Like, you know, it would have made it, and then I would have had shape on the 8. Like, it's just super accurate. But now look what position I'm in. Right? Technically speaking, I should lose this rack. Technically speaking, I should lose this rack. If my opponent doesn't have a complete plan on how to run the table, he should pretty much protect the cue ball, hope that I don't kick it in, and then be able to run the table from there. Because it looks like we're going to shoot the 3 ball next. You can get position on the 5 or the 1. It doesn't really matter. All right, I'm guessing this combo is wired. If this combo's not wired, I'd want to deal with it as soon as I possibly can. Oh, you can see he wanted the 2 rail out of there, but he ended up catching the point. All right, so does this combo even go? It doesn't look like he's shooting at it. Oh, he tried to back cut the 1 ball. That was a valiant effort. Well, nothing more I can do here except try to bank this one. So like I said, this is the position where I was talking about, to where like I'm having to chase after my last ball. Right? Otherwise, if I can wait for my opponent to miss so badly that I'll actually have a shot. So there's a misjudgment, right? Because you can see how I spun the ball. So since I knew I was putting the left spin on the cue ball, I kind of shortened where I wanted the 13 ball to actually come off the rail, but I shortened it too much because the spin didn't transfer it over enough. So it was a misjudgment on my part since I was banking it with side spin. Oh, geez, wow. Uh-oh. Oh, he scratched. That's unfortunate. That was unfortunate. Ball in hand, and I've got 2 balls left on the table right next to each other. This is pretty much a gimme here. There goes the 13, 8 in the side. There we go. And I was able to take that one down also, 5-0. Now, I think when we look back at this, like, there's only a couple of times we saw, like, I made very little mistakes on both matches. So all I can go off of that is I got to keep up doing what I'm doing, making sure that I'm just choosing between, you know, when to play aggressively, when to play it conservatively, and then, of course, continue to just work on my cue ball control, like, you know, the question that was asked here about it has my cue ball control gotten better, which I think it has. We saw, at least on, I think it was on this match, where I had a lot of tight movements that I had to do in order to get the outs that I got there. So I think that's at least evidence there that my cue ball control has started to get a little bit better. With regards to my opponent for this match here, I don't really see it to be any different than my previous opponent, even though my previous opponent was playing handicapped. And that is, how much planning goes into your run out, and do you actually think that you are going to be able to run the table? So, like, for example, if we go back and look at this spot right here, it's not like there's anything wrong with going for it. Now, did he played to bank this ball, didn't he? Yeah, he's playing the bank shot. So how many of y'all would have attempted to play the bank shot? How many of y'all would attempt to cut the ball all the way to the corner pocket? And how many of y'all would attempt to play safe? Do we want to do this? Or do we want to, and the cue ball should pretty much, like, I would have guessed that the cue ball should stay somewhere right around there. Or how many of y'all would attempt to cut it in here? You probably have to use right spin, a little bit of right spin to get the cue ball to do this, to keep it away from the side pockets. Or how many of y'all would attempt to do this? Go ahead and bank it, but you're going to miss it, so that way you can do this with the cue ball and try to hide it behind the 8, because that's the only real decent safety that I could see. I don't know. Like, I think maybe another decent safety would be to clip. Why did I draw a crooked line or a non-straight line? I think another decent safety would probably be trying to thin the ball on the right side and get the cue ball to go over here. Like, I at least have a shot at my ball, but it's a difficult shot, especially if I'm on the rail. This is probably like the optimal safety that I would see here. Let's see here. So we've got Murky Joker cutting the ball. We do have an option for a safety. Rick Ward wants to cut the ball. Tim Crumley would cut the ball also. Bree would play a safe. Richard M would cut the ball, play safe. Tim, you think the safe is harder than the cut? I mean, trying to land the cue ball in a precise location. I mean, I can totally see that. But I don't know. Like, the answers are clearly going to vary, right? Because, like, what are you capable of doing versus what I'm capable of doing versus what is someone else capable of doing? But those, I think we all can agree that these are the 3 options that are available, or 4 options actually, depending upon what kind of safe that you want to play. Obviously, try to bank it, try to cut it, play safe behind the 8, or play safe by sticking the cue ball down here on the end rail here. I think those are at least the 4 decent options without trying to get too crazy with how we could have maneuvered the cue ball around. But like I said, to me it's always good to see how people would play differently, you know, because everybody's going to make a different decision. But I think we all can agree that some decisions are just better than others. But the decisions being better than others, I think, is also based on skill level as well. Me personally, I'm probably going to cut this ball. I'm more than likely going to try to cut it all the way down here and then have my cue ball like 2 or 3 rail like this to possibly get position on the 8. Because I'm not going to flirt with the cue ball doing this and trying to, you know, possibly land over here to cut the 8 ball into the side pocket. I would allow my cue ball to drift up table a little bit, more than likely. And I don't see myself trying to shoot the ball in like this and then trying to get position like this. I think that's really dangerous and highly missable. I think I would end up trying to do that versus trying to bank the ball. Okay, well, I hope everything that I talked about in this match made sense. Hope everybody was able to learn something from it. Let's go back to here because that's pretty much going to wrap things up for tonight's live stream. Like I said, I pretty much just do 2 matches at a time. So I want to take this time to thank everybody for being here. It looks like I have, I saw that I had up to about 80 people. I don't know if I had any more than that. If you haven't done so already, though, I really would appreciate it if you gave this stream a thumbs up, whether you're on Facebook or whether you're on YouTube. I also would appreciate if you would also share the stream, whether you're sharing the YouTube stream or whether you're sharing the Facebook stream. It really doesn't matter. Help me out by allowing more people to be able to see this stuff so they can see the way that I play it, hopefully be able to learn and get better. Or if they just want to make fun of me, it really just doesn't matter. Also, like I said, if you check the pinned comment that you see both on the Facebook chat and on the YouTube chat, you'll see that I have a product review video for this J Flowers power jump cue here. I am doing a giveaway not only for one, but for 2 jump cues. 2 lucky people are going to be able to win a free jump cue just for giving me 10 minutes of your time to watch the product review video. If you haven't done so already and you haven't seen that video yet, when you watch it, in order to be a possible eligible winner, you have to be able to like the product review video, leave a comment in the product review video, make sure that you're subscribed to my channel, and make sure your subscription list is public. Because as time goes by, I will eventually do another live stream just like this and select 2 random comments from that product review video. That's why it's so important to be able to like and comment on that video. That's why it's also very important that your subscription list is public, because when I select the winners, I have to be able to verify that you're one of my subscribers. And so I select the comment, and then I go look at your channel, and it does not matter if you produce content or not. I just want to be able to see your subscription list, and I want to be able to see that I'm in the subscription list. And if I am, then there'll just be a little one last security step that you have to follow in order for you to verify who you are, and then I'm able to send you the cue. So, with all that being said, let me say one more time, thanks everybody for being here, and have a good night.